Okay, this is a special request that I had from a student in Math 1108. We were working on this problem yesterday, and due to shortage of time, didn't get it finished. And it does take a little while to do, so I decided to do a little video on it, and let's see how it works out. So someone has a room that is 10 by 13 feet and wants to have a rug that is 40 square feet in the center of this room and wants to have equal distance all around the sides. So what are the dimensions of the rug? Okay, so I'm suggesting, as I told the person yesterday, that we make a sketch and then develop a strategy to solve it. So let's see what we can come up with. So there is my sketch. Before it disappeared, but now we have it back. So there's the room. The measurements up here, this is 13 feet, and this is 10 feet. And we know that would be 130 square feet. This is just some bit of data. We don't know if we're going to use that or not. But we know in here that this is 40 square feet. And I think we're going to use that one. Okay, so we know these dimensions, but we don't know these dimensions, but we know the area of this. So we want something around the sides from here to there, and from there to there. These are all going to be the same because we want a uniform border all around this rug, but we still want to find out the dimensions of this rug. Well, here's something we don't know. So what will this amount be? And we're going to say that's going to be S for side. So there's one there. We don't know that. This is the same. This is the same. And this is the same. Now, what do we know then? Well, we know that there's one S here, and there's one S here for this. So this is going to be 10 minus 2S. So there's my 10 over there. And if I take away this S and this S, I get 10 minus 2S. Okay, that's my innermost dimension here of this line. Now of this line, that's going to be 13 minus, again, this S on this side and this S, which gives me 2S there. Now I have the dimension of this side and I have the dimension of this side, and when I multiply these two sides together, I get 40 square feet. I'm going to change to black so you can see it better. I have an equation, but in order to solve equations, I have to put it in standard form. So I'm going to FOIL that and get 130. I'm going to do my outers, and I get a negative 20s. My inners, I get a negative 26. So this gives me a negative 46s for my middle term, outers and inners. Then I'm going to do my last, and I get a positive 4s squared. That equals 40. I now have a trinomial that is quadratic, that is to the second power, equals 40. And what technique do I have to solve that? Well, I'm going to try factoring, and I'm going to put this in standard form. So I put my 4s there, 4s squared. This stays the same, minus 46s. Now I'm going to subtract 40 from both sides. This leaves me with 90 equals 0. Now this equation is in standard form. Now I notice this is a 4, a 46, a 90. I could factor out a 2 from each term. So I'm going to divide everything by 2 to make my numbers smaller. So this becomes now 2s squared minus 23s plus 45 equals 0, because this is just 0 here. Now, I could use the quadratic formula for this, but it actually factors nicely. This is prime, so this is going to be 2s, and this will be an s. Now, I'm looking for factors of 45 that will add up to a negative 23. And I have a feeling it's going to be a 9 and a 5. Because when I do my outers, I get an 18. And I do my inners, I get a 5. And so that is a negative 23. These both have to be negative. And to get a positive 45, these also both need to be negative. So now I have two factors that equal 0. So I'm going to use the principle of 0 factors. And it's 2s minus 5 equals 0, or s minus 9 equals 0. Now I solve each of these equations. Here I'm going to transpose this. This becomes a 5. Then I'm going to divide by 2. So 5 halves. I said it right, but wrote down the wrong answer. So it's 5 halves, or s is equal to 9. Just transpose that. Now, when I look at my answers, which are reasonable? Could I have s as 9? Well, this would be 9. This would be 9. That doesn't add up to 10. So this one is extraneous. We throw that one out. But this one, and remember, another way to write this is s is 2.5. And if I just put it there, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. Remember, I said I wanted to have an even amount all around. Well, I still don't know the dimensions of this rug. So how do I find that out? Well, I go to my formula up here, 10 minus 2s. Well, s is 2.5, so 2s is 5. So I go over here, 10 minus 5 is 5. So that's one dimension. And here I get 2.5 and 2.5, another 5. So I have 13 minus 5. That's going to give me 8. So for my final statement, and it works out very well, the dimensions of my rug will be 5 by 8 feet. and that equals 40 square feet. How did I do it? I read the problem carefully. I made a diagram, a sketch, put the information I knew from my paragraph, knew I had to have an equal amount of distance around all sides, used the letter S to represent that. Then I got my new uh, length, so to speak, or however you want to put it, and that was 10, well, that would be width, 10 minus 2s. Length is 13 minus 2s, and that was equal to my square area here. And then I put it in standard form, factored it, equal each factor to 0, and got an answer for S. Now I got two answers because it is a quadratic equation, but I reject one as not suitable because it doesn't fit into the answer. Okay, hopefully this was helpful to you. And see, it took me 11 minutes, and I had worked this out ahead of time. I had to sit down and do the kind of thinking you need to do.